I know that you will find many opportunities to honor them in the days ahead. I also know that your future is going to bring even more supporters, champions, and allies into your orbit. And today is a day to celebrate you and your hard work. Let's take a moment to acknowledge all that you have persevered through to get to this day. Countless hours, team presentations, problem sets, spreadsheets, pitch decks, and even a national last-minute Canvas hacking incident. Through all of it, you have shown up and shown out. You have built a resilience and a discipline that I know is going to serve you in the future. I am so proud of you. And with that, it is time to move on with our program. It is now my pleasure to welcome a friend, colleague, and our coach to the podium, the Orrin and Janet Smith Dean at the University of Washington's Foster School of Business, Frank Hodge. Frank was appointed the 14th Dean of the school in July of 2019 after joining UW faculty in the year 2000. Prior to becoming dean, he served as chair of the Department of Accounting and as the UW faculty athletics representative both to the Pac-12 and the NCAA. He holds an undergraduate degree from Carroll College and earned his MBA and PhD from Indiana University's Kelley School of Business. Please join me in a warm welcome for Dean Frank Hodge.
Well, thank you, Christina, and good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to be celebrating with you today. Thank you for being here. Before we get to our student and keynote speaker, I have some advice I want to share with you, and then I have an ask. The advice pertains to how I try to live our motto at the Foster School, to exhibit a growth mindset, to be better tomorrow than you are today. That advice really boils down to 3 words. Tell me more. Let me give you some examples. Say that I'm in Packard Hall at Orrin's Cafe waiting for a coffee, and someone comes up to me and they're obviously upset, and I want to help them. What I do is I say, please, come have a seat. Tell me more. Or I'm in Founders Hall and I see one of you come out of the Burke Center for Entrepreneurship and say, I've got a wonderful product that I want to sell to the market. And I want to be a part of that excitement. So I say, tell me more. Or we're together in Anthony's forum and you come up to me and say, I want to share how a faculty member, perhaps one of the faculty members on this stage, has changed my life. I say, tell me more. Or I'm walking to graduation and a graduate stops me and says, I've got an exciting story to share with you. And to be honest, the first thing I did is look at my watch to make sure that I would not be late. And the second thing I did is I said, tell me more. You get the picture. Tell me more is about being curious. It's about a growth mindset. It's about making informed decisions, and perhaps most importantly, it's about building relationships. And that's my ask. When you walk away from the Foster School in the coming weeks, stay in touch. We've been giving out business degrees for over 105 years. You are joining an alumni network of over 65,000 Foster graduates and over 590,000 University of Washington graduates. If you need help, lean into that network and ask for it. If you can provide help, do so. And when the time comes, lead your colleagues, classmates, and fellow alumni. And if I see you at one of those events, whether it's on campus or out in our community, don't be surprised if I ask you to tell me more. Congratulations, graduates of 2026.
Thank you so much, Dean Hodge. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our student speaker for today's ceremony. Ellery Lyon is a graduating senior at the Foster School of Business with a degree in finance and marketing. I still remember meeting Ellery more than 3 years ago when she was still at the beginning of her Foster experience. Even then, I was impressed by her global mindset, courage, and desire to lead. I knew she was going to leave a big, lasting impact at Foster. And wow, was that true. In her time at Foster, Ellery has served as the president of Delta Sigma Pi and co-founded the UW Product Management Association, the first RSO of its kind at the University of Washington. In her work with the Creative Destruction Lab at Foster, she plays an important role in connecting founders, mentors, and industry leaders within the entrepreneurship community. One of my favorite things about Ellery is the global perspective she brings to Foster. Ellery was born in Hong Kong and raised in Shanghai, China, before coming to Seattle to attend UW. Her global pursuits have continued at Foster. She participated in Foster's Early Fall Start Ireland study tour, and she also represented University of Washington at an international case competition in Budapest, Hungary. Her unique perspective and creative talents have served her well as a student and beyond. She worked on HighSpot's community marketing team and interned at Creative Artists Agency in New York. After graduation, she plans to pursue a career in marketing with a focus on events and brand strategy, continuing to combine creativity, community, and impact. Ellery, I am so glad that you are representing the class of 2026. Come on up.
Thank you, Dean Christina Fong, for that lovely introduction. And welcome, class of 2026. It is an honor to address you and your loved ones on this beautiful day. For those I didn't get the pleasure of meeting, my name is Ellery Lyon. I want to give a special thank you to my family, my parents, Brenda and Jim, and my friends, but also every person I've interacted with in this room, big or small. Whether you realize it or not, you've helped shape me into the person I am today, and I want to say thank you. And I promise I am not here to give a recap of my college accomplishments. That's what LinkedIn is for. I'm here to talk to everyone in this room, because this moment, right here, it's shared. We all arrived at the University of Washington in different ways. For me, I came from Concordia, a small international school in the Pudong suburbs of Shanghai, China. I was on the same campus from 1st until 12th grade. I never had to be the new kid, and I didn't experience a lot of change. Then I decided to come to the University of Washington, coming not only to a state I'd never been in, but a school I never toured. The website showed a very sunny campus, which is slightly misleading. But the important thing is that I knew no one. I came to UW without a built-in community, without a clear path, and without knowing where I fit in. As I stepped on campus for the first time, I realized I was excited to finally have the space to define who I wanted to become. Ironically, growing up in one of the largest cities in the world, I felt liberated by the 20 square feet I could call my own on the 8th floor of McCarty Hall. It's strange to me now to think I'm president of Delta Sigma Pi, an organization on campus with more members than my 70-person high school graduation class. In many ways, I was underprepared to navigate the countless social interactions and adult decisions my freshman year self would have to make. But over the next 4 years, Foster helped me grow. Yes, college is meant for getting a degree, but it's also meant to build connections, and it's how we learn and where we learn to be a true person. We learn from the people around us, from the big decisions, and the tiny humbling ones. As one of your classmates, I want to share my 3 tenets I've learned at my time at Foster. Probably not all unique to me, but important to all of us as we walk across this stage and step foot in the next chapter of our lives. The first tenet is about friction. Coming from a small school, relationships were never something I had to worry about. I never had to maintain them. I saw everyone in my life every day. But coming to college, relationships suddenly required effort. Very quickly, I realized it could have been weeks since I last saw my friend until I bumped into them in passing. This has led me to appreciate the idea of meaningful friction. It's the idea that it shouldn't be easy, but it shouldn't be hard. And I'll be the first to admit, it took me a while to learn the difference. The relationships that matter, the ones that last, they require effort. They require showing up, even when it's inconvenient. They require honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. But they should not feel forced or feel like something you have to fight to maintain. I remember talking to my friend Enrique. He was debating whether to go to a friend's performance. He was tired, it had been a long day. It would have been much easier for him to stay home. But he said something that stuck with me. It will mean more to them than the effort it will cost me. It's a big moment in their day, but a small ask in mine. In the end, the joy we feel from our closest relationships comes not just from the easy moments, but from the effort behind them, the hard conversations, the compromises, the ways we show people how important they are to us. So when something matters, let it require friction. Just make sure that that friction is meaningful. The second tenet is about success. There is this quiet pressure, especially in business school, to compete. We all fell victim to Foster Capstone, or we've gone up against friends in the more than 30 student-run organizations to be on exec or even just become a member. I know I felt at times not only that there isn't enough success to go around, but that someone else's achievement might take away from my own. This quite simply is not true. I challenge you to find collaborators, not competitors. We don't live in a winner-takes-all world, and the fact at the end of the day is this: success is not a finite resource. Look around, these are your peers. We are all in the same graduating class, and we've all made it here today. Foster is proof that success was never meant to belong to just one of us. Across Foster's student-run organizations, women hold nearly 60% of exec positions. 60%. I am incredibly proud to be one of those women. And honestly, when I first learned this statistic, I was not surprised, because this is the Foster I have known. So when I later read that women make up barely 30% of senior corporate leadership, I was surprised. Not because I didn't believe it, but because it felt so different from the reality I had lived in college. Foster has shown me that when the playing field is based on merit, passion, and collaboration, we don't just participate, we excel. When we stop treating success like a limited number of seats and start seeing it as something we can build together, more people rise. The reason I'm standing up here today is that people embraced me, nominated me, and above all, they believed in me. So remember, the people around you are not your obstacles. They are your allies. Success is not finite. It's something that we can, that we will build together. The third tenet is about freedom. There is a quote I love from Oscar Wilde that goes something like this: "If you know what you want to be, then you will inevitably become it. That is your punishment. But if you never know, then you can be anything. That is your reward." I have spent so much time trying to define myself, putting labels on who I am and what I should become. But maybe we're not meant to be fixed things. We are not nouns, we are verbs. We learn, we create, we change, we grow. We are given the freedom to try something new and to become something unexpected. Some of my favorite courses at UW had nothing to do with my degree. Classes like black and white film photography or Introduction to Performance Art, where my friend Lily and I once spent an hour atop a giant piece of paper drawing and erasing a single pencil line. Yes, I said art, not marketing class, but these courses weren't optimized towards a career path, but they shaped the way I see the world nonetheless. I found a freedom in trying things without knowing exactly where they would lead. I know many of us have felt this pressure to have everything figured out or to have something lined up, but not knowing keeps your potential infinite. Our lives are non-binary. We get more than 2 choices of the paths we go down, which means that all paths will look different. These choices shape us, and we cannot forget that this is an enduring process. To truly embrace freedom is to explore and redefine ourselves. There is a freedom in not having it all figured out. And as we leave this place, that freedom is ours. My transition getting here 4 years ago was from a 70-person graduation class to the now 700 peers that fill this room. The transition we will all experience after today will be from these 700 familiar faces to the breadth of the world. In this, we need to apply the tenets we've learned, the values we've garnered, and embrace the adversity that comes with this. After today, there is not much that is certain, but I am sure about this. You will feel friction. Make it meaningful. You will find success. Share it. You will experience uncertainty. Find freedom in it. And above all, embrace the fear of change, because life is about the transitions. Thank you. Class of 2026, congratulations!
Ellery, thank you for sharing those words with us, words about your journey coming here. I have one statistic I would like to add to your statistics you provided, and that is 6 of the 9 senior administrators at the Foster School of Business are women. One of those women, Christina Fong, sits on this stage here today. Like Ellery, our keynote speaker, Sunny Gupta, has a fascinating story about coming to America. He will share some of that story with you. Sunny will be the first to tell you, however, that when you look at his CV, what looks like a linear rise to great accomplishments was anything but. There were lots of challenges and successes along the way. Sunny co-founded a company, Aptio, which he eventually took public and helped shepherd a sale to IBM for almost $5 billion. I was talking to Sunny before we came out here today, and he is starting his next venture tomorrow. Literally tomorrow, he is starting his next company. What I most admire about Sunny, though, isn't that he's had phenomenal success from all the hard work he put into building companies. It's that he gives back, that he lifts while he climbs. He shares his talent, treasure, and time with others, especially education and medicine. Sunny sits on the Foster Advisory Board and has been a great advisor to me. In 2026, Sunny received an honorary doctorate from Coastal Carolina University. He lives in Sun Valley with his wife and has 2 children. One is a graduate of the Foster School, and one will be a graduate of the Foster School soon. Please join me in welcoming Sunny Gupta.
Well, good afternoon. Let me adjust this to my height. Frank and me are different height profiles, as you can tell. So first of all, Dr. Hodge, thank you so much for that generous introduction. Good afternoon, University of Washington, Foster School graduates, families, and friends. But first, let me just start with, to the faculty, to the mothers, fathers, siblings, and loved ones. You made all the sacrifices, staying up late, providing unconditional love, and financial support. We are who we are because of your support and love. So let's give you all the biggest round of applause. Woo! And congratulations, class of 2026. I am so fired up for you. You did it. And I have to be very honest, as Frank mentioned, looking at all of you graduating is very personal. My son kind of sat here exactly where you're sitting last year, recent Foster graduate. My daughter is a junior at Foster, working towards a really same moment. I moved to Seattle almost 27 years ago, where my first company was acquired. After living in 6 different cities, I absolutely fell in love with Seattle. I started coming to UW Husky football games with my son. He was young at that time. And really watching Jake Locker to Jake Browning to Michael Penix. How about Michael Penix? Going to the Sugar Bowl in 2023 with my family, my son, was one of the greatest highlights for me personally. I love the Huskies so much, it's crazy, that I almost missed my niece's wedding 2 years ago, and I was so late, and I had to kind of find 2 different Lime scooters on the way to the wedding, because that game was 2023 UW-Oregon game, if you remember it. This university is family and really feels like home. And 2 very important words in our household, especially on Saturdays in the fall. Can you guess? Go Dogs. So today I want to share 3 lessons I learned on the long road from college to where I'm at now. First, nourish the community you built here at Foster. Second, remember that your first job is just the beginning and not the end in your journey. And finally, take risks. Seek out rooms where you feel like you don't belong, because being uncomfortable is exactly how you'll grow. 37 years ago, I was a kid from India who arrived in South Carolina for my education. And I had $2,000 in my pocket, because that's what my family could afford, and a scholarship. For the first few months in 1989 at the university, I really felt lost. Relate very much to what you mentioned, Larry. And then looking for people of my own color or people from my own country. During my first week on campus, this is a crazy story. I remember walking into a cafeteria, having not a lot of cultural etiquettes of being in the US, picking up one of those large, big plastic trays in the cafeteria and piling my food directly onto it. No plate, just me, a big tray, and tons of food on it. And while I was eating, a kind student leaned over and whispered, "Hey, you may want to get a plate." See, in India, there was no concepts of trays or plates. There was only one place where we ate off, so that was my welcome to the US moment. But I had big dreams and also had a lot of uncertainty in my life. Does that sound familiar to you? I'm still not sure where I found the courage to come to the US, starting any of my 3 companies, or for that matter, move into Seattle. But my education and my friendships formed in college were my launch pad and security blanket. And that is exactly what you all have sitting in front of you today, with such amazing friendships as you're walking out of this university. In May of 1992, I sat in a chair just like yours at my university waiting for my name to be called. The stadium was roaring with families everywhere. But my parents weren't there, as the long journey from India was more than what they could afford. So then I started looking at the students, faculty, teammates, professors, even my president, and something drastically shifted inside me in that moment. These people had shared their homes and supported me at the university during some very tough moments for me. They were my rocks. In those moments, I realized I wasn't alone. I was standing on a foundation that would really last a lifetime. All those friendships, that bond which I'd formed with students, professors, faculty, follows me everywhere to this day. So as you walk off this stage today, remember this community, now your village. An example, 7 years ago, I walked into a sales meeting in New York City, and the person across the table took one look at me and said, "Did you go to this university in South Carolina?" And I said, "Yes." And 25 years had passed, and that connection, just that connection, won us the business. I never could have predicted that, and I promise you, neither will you. So nourish these relationships as the person sitting next to you really might be your next future business partner, your best reference, or the friend who really helps you during your darkest hour. And whatever you do, never burn a bridge. The world is really small, much smaller than we all think. I know this firsthand. As we were preparing to take my company public in 2016, I was in Seattle. I had very serious doubts whether I was the right person to be a public company CEO. Fortunately, I was surrounded by some amazing friends and people on my board. I almost resigned. At least mentally, I had resigned. So then I remember sitting at a bar on a Friday night with a board member. He sat with me and made me believe in myself that night when I had stopped believing. That conversation changed everything, and by Sunday, I felt invigorated to lead Aptio, and Monday I was ready to go. My friend Raj Singh is with us, and his son is also graduating with us today. So thank you, Raj, for your support. So just remember, you need people like that in your life, right? And you need to be that person for somebody else, very similar to what Frank was saying. So let me guess what may be running through your minds right now, because I felt every bit of it 37 years ago. Excitement, a lot of excitement, mixed in with a little terror, yeah? Some of you have jobs, some don't, and you're wondering if you're ready to go. Here is the honest answer. Nobody ever is. But the exciting part is that you get to write the next chapter of your life on a complete blank page. You don't get this opportunity many times. And here's something nobody tells you. You are more than your major. Don't let anybody put you in a box based on just what your diploma or your degree says. I was a computer scientist. That's what I studied. Became an entrepreneur and a business person. Your degree is the launch pad. It really is. It is not the destination. I thought I was all set, right? Graduating out of Carolina University, I got a job at IBM right out of college. I was 22 years old, and I was writing code in a cubicle with almost no human interaction. I hated my job. And I had just gone to college for 3-4 years, coming out thinking that's going to be my profession. And then I started realizing, I wondered in my mind that I'd made a terrible mistake. Terrible, terrible mistake. Studying computer science, taking this job. Recognizing my need for human interaction and challenge, but I kept persevering. I didn't quit. I'm like, I'm going to wake up, and I'm going to keep raising my hand for that extra project and new opportunities and keep building my relationships. And that is somehow when I discovered my passion to be an entrepreneur. So 4 years later, I quit my stable job to start my first company. I had no idea how I'd pay my bills. I made every mistake imaginable in this, hiring the wrong kind of people, having the wrong kind of founders, not raising any capital. When I finally had to sell my first company, I actually thought, this is only 1998, I thought I was a failure. Those failures, however, taught me more than my successes. And I eventually started 2 more companies. And this was the crazy part. In every new company I started, I tried to avoid the mistakes I made in the previous one, but every single time I kept making new mistakes. Plenty of mistakes, more mistakes than even successes. And then the highlight of my career so far was, as Frank mentioned, I was able to take my company Aptio public on NASDAQ and eventually sell back to IBM for billions of dollars. And little did I know that my career, my first job was at IBM, and I ended my career with IBM. Full circle. And here's what surprised me the most, and this will happen to many of you as well, that my passions along the way just kept evolving. So give yourselves permission for your passions to evolve. I went from computer scientist to entrepreneur to CEO, then to philanthropist, investor, board member. And somewhere along the way, I also started coaching my son's high school American football team. Crazy, right? 5'8", short Indian guy, kinda sitting on the sidelines, calling offensive plays for a high school team. But the football coaching, people thought I was crazy. Like, I studied the tape like crazy on the weekends. I had never seen a football game before I came to this country. But that sideline taught me everything. And it taught me more about leadership than almost anything in the boardroom. When you're coaching an 18-year-old in college, in high school, who just made a big mistake in front of a crowd, think about an interception, game is on the line, last play remaining. You learn very quickly that you can only deliver hard, honest feedback, but only if the person on the other end truly respects you and knows that you have their back. And building trust with people who you work with takes time, no matter what your title and role is. So go invest in building trust with your colleagues, your friends, your future managers as you enter the workforce. I learned that building trust was true on the field, it's true every company I've run, it's true everywhere. Nobody handed me a playbook for this. I just kept saying yes to the next thing that excited me, let my passions evolve. And eventually I figured it out. Sometimes I joke with my kids, I still don't have it figured out. So be open to change and let your passions evolve. Your first job may not be perfect. You might even hate it, just like I hated my job. But that's okay. That's totally okay. Don't fixate on where you'll be in 10 years. Stay present. Do the hard work in front of you. And I promise you, new doors will open up. They always do. Okay, so my third point, I suggest that you do not be afraid of things that feel uncomfortable. Larry mentioned this as well, and it really resonates with me. As I was graduating from my university in South Carolina, I really didn't want to leave the area. I don't know if you all have traveled to this town called Myrtle Beach. I had grown too addicted to the partying there in my 3 years. But I pushed myself to be uncomfortable once again. After graduation, I ended up moving to Miami, Boston, London, Atlanta, Nashville, before finally settling in Seattle. Every new city, I must say, brought a lot of anxiety inside me, right? New friends, all of that. But here's the thing, success wasn't easy. It really never is. Time and again, I've had to push myself past my self-doubt, my own self-criticism, and often also skepticism from others around me. Often, I had to choose between what is easy and what is hard, and that will also something I think many of you may face as you enter professional lives. And that's okay. Despite that, I encourage you, keep walking into the rooms where you don't think you belong. Seriously. That's exactly where you'll grow the most. Say yes to the job you never considered. Travel to a country you never can pronounce. Go to the event you almost skipped. Or seek discomfort on purpose. You'll grow, and and it's okay to have failures along the way. Okay, so finally, class of 2026, you're walking out of here with a world-class education, a community that will always be with you, and a blank page that is entirely yours to fill. You're more resilient than you think. You're more capable than you know. And you are never as alone as you feel. Just look at this community around you, your friends. This will stay with you forever. So do not wait until you're ready. Get ready on the way as you enter the workforce. 37 years ago, a kid from India who arrived with $2,000 in South Carolina, ate off a cafeteria tray, struggled through his first job, went on to start 3 successful companies, given back to his community, and allowed himself to evolve and pursue multiple passions. I promise you, if he can do it, so can you. As you step out into this world, thank you. So as you step out into this world, remember, do not just lean on your village. Nourish it. Point number 2, do not mistake your first job for the finish line. It is only your first step. And do not walk into rooms where you belong, right? We walk into rooms where the ones we think we don't belong. We're going to grow. Foster School made you ready for this world, and now it's your opportunity to go make the world something of your own. Congratulations, Huskies. But I need one promise, okay? I cannot wait to see what you do next. But one promise is, I do not want anybody from this group going to grad school at Oregon. I wish you so much love and success, and can't wait to see what you're going to do. So go Dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunny, for being part of today's celebration. Thank you for sharing your story to inspire us. And now it's time for the formal recognition part of the program. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage Assistant Dean of Undergraduate Programs, Vicki Hagday, and Andy Rabatoy, Assistant Dean of Foster Career Services, who will read the names of each of today's graduates. Faculty, please take your positions. Let's do it, baby.
Are you going to be my partner? You got it. Thank you.
Yes, Sierra!
I'm Andy.
I know, thank you. I'll do my best to hand them to you as best I can. Oh.
All right, are we ready for this? I think so. Now, I'd like to invite each of the graduates to take the stage so that we can recognize you individually. Students, our ushers will welcome you one row at a time to come to the left and right sides of the stage. When your name is called, please join me or Dean Hodge, then cross to the center of the stage and proceed down the ramp back to your row. Let's go, baby.
How do you want to? she gets to go.
Leila Astu Mumbai.
Noah Avitan.
Itzel Adriana Bejarana Arias.
Sal Papaldas.
Achalai Reyes.
Faith Kim. Congrats. Rachel Park. Ashwari Roger.
Mariana Mata Olivia.
Ashlita Coriparo.
Mohini Paul.
Phoenicia Suripalam.
Adeze Okema.
Nathan Vizino.
Thania Kishpe Rodriguez.
Kimo Chang. Congrats.
Alison Lozana.
Lily Kosik.
Harini Vijaran.
Megan Spring.
Alfonso Landeros.
Bailey Kennedy.
Julissa Cruz.
Gianna Lampert.
Evelyn Cortez.
Ellery Lyon.
Rosa Arango Lopez.
Cecilia Carlone.
Roberto Rodriguez.
Ella Dirks.
Tom McBratney.
Ariel Oriana Castro.
Simon Waters.
Paul Coe.
Ellie Hong.
Max Ye.
Megimi El Shaikami.
David Valcho.
Therese Leakin.
Alex Ma.
Scott Poe.
Parvis Sadikov.
Ben Niwadansky.
Kai Hutchinson.
Justin Sialm.
Eleanor Knight.
Isabel Hanchett.
Shui Ramasamy.
Natalie Kokas.
Andrew Liu.
Jenny Lee.
Vivian Lung.
V. Tran.
Annie Chen.
Mei Zin U.
Arihant Parsarab.
Brittany Fan.
Mason Kung.
Michelle Hong.
Sue Kim.
T. Yoon Chang.
Daniel Lee.
Nico Monjares.
Anthony Kim.
Long Win.
Jack Bryan.
Min Vu.
Kichi Restogi.
Lin Win. Robert Chase.
Blake Nye.
Hongshu Angulari.
Daniel Park.
Jessica Dong.
Brent Predmore.
Johanna Pham.
Shu Nakanishi.
Angela Lee.
Selena Bowden.
Ashley Doan.
David Choi.
Brittany Klein. Courtney Klein.
Rohan Kanmaka.
Dana Kim.
Maxime Bromberg.
Vanessa Watts.
Lisa Marie Colleton.
Olivia Rardon.
Mila Hoagland.
Maripaz Afaro.
Emma Schrady.
Kavya Gedger.
Levi Hawk.
Anna Pilcher.
Nick O'Brien.
Lauren Chang.
Joseph Dale.
Aliyah Ben Qasim. Emma Mazzado.
Paige Brianna Delita.
Jaden Guo.
David Jung.
Julie Mai.
Hakeem Egali.
Mariani Sala.
Jalen Akita Bodie.
Anna Cecilia Stom.
Samuel Gill.
Jessica Tran.
Sean Yun.
Ni Win.
Maddox Tolkamp.
Sriharsita Nardamala.
Michael Heaney.
Ismarela Buenrostro.
Sierra Daly.
Jasleen Carr.
Marissa Yun.
Daisy Ann Gonatise.
Samir Rockman.
Zichen Wang.
Bella Waisaki.
Cheyenne Wang.
Jackie Bay.
Nini Fee.
All right.
Bailey Feinstein.
Eric Nguyen.
Braden Harrison.
Victor Hu.
Ishan Hamal.
Gavin Price.
Daniel Shaplov.
Chloe Chung.
Nicole Templer.
Susanna Stump.
L. Fletcher.
Madison LeBaron.
Samantha Smolkin.
Marissa Magnuson.
Chloe Wakab.
Ella Zamza.
Julia Holovinska.
Congrats. Elka Strength.
See? Lalita Paluri.
Congrats. Lauren Geis.
Tiana Vahidi Abershami.
Annalise Tillian.
Daxita Ganesh.
Lauren Parker.
Julina Buri Gonzalez.
Ava Chachalas.
Alyssa Guo.
Congrats. Gabrielle Scholl.
Callie Iverson.
Congrats. Vincent Wu.
Tavin Stacy.
Raleigh Dexel.
Selena Ing.
Alexander Wilson Straub.
Dewan Tran.
Griffin Miller.
Hulan Arunbat.
Congrats. Quinn Lowry.
Elaine Chai.
William Burian.
Faruza Sharif. Anas Ali.
Jason Woods.
Depesh Singh.
Sebastian Natala.
Amog Paista.
Right. Alexander Stoltenberg.
Lucas Lisboa.
Dylan Huynh.
Jacob Martin.
Garrett Davis.
Liv Regglesworth.
Marshall Gaberman.
Madeline Sutina.
Inso Chocolature.
Allison Lewis. Christina Angulova.
Oscar Robo-Neves.
Anna Tips.
Mitchell Halpern.
Lucas Hernandez.
Santry Jorkin.
Ellie Robbins.
Nicholas Ramirez.
Ella Walters.
Mia Michael.
Angela Bamford.
Allie Harrison.
Isabella Cervantes.
Cameron Durrell.
Piero Santos.
Lexi Fredman.
Carlos Gabriel Moscoso Castillo.
Sabre Gonaspias.
Emma Sierra Walker.
My middle name's Grace Rosas.
Crisanta Grace Rosas Volante.
Aaron Robert Celeste.
Amber Hywen.
Natnel Nagash.
Victor Kamenov Matafa.
AJ Suafora.
Yeah. Cameron Christopher Delphin.
Marina Vegas Ayano.
Chaitana Marupeti.
Fatina Natali.
Charita Bale.
Yasmin Lasovsky.
Candice Bowie.
Lucas Blank.
Kate Duchnova.
Joan Clay Lee.
Rajvash Dang.
JP.
Edgar Lopez. Eva Duria.
Maritza Mendoza Sandoval. Congrats.
Vridi Manchanda.
Kate Benson.
Alessandro Begamashi.
Joshua Wadka.
We're gonna wait.
Congrats.
Adrian So.
Gavin Solebe. Congrats. Hold on.
Benjamin Strupinski.
Clara Chung.
Nicholas Mendoza.
Connor Nguyen.
Alex Andre.
Congrats. Lillian Tran.
Ned Chapman.
Jennifer V. Tran.
Zachary Glenn. Taylor Gerard.
May Yen Betty Louise Frank Yen Chen Shipers San.
Surya Bolapregna.
Han Nguyen.
Mahalat Lu'ul Mengistu.
Jacob Jansen.
Amal Dolal.
Ethan Fong.
Layla Hassan.
Tigran McCutcheon.
Calvin Vong.
Ethan Shu.
Gordon Tran.
Mokum Brar.
Isha Bansali.
Arisha Ko.
Emily Shallon.
Matthew Chen.
Ria Rao.
Alex Sang.
Mia Pino.
Owen Mead.
Pedro Mora.
Jack Villagran.
Jamie Kwan.
Dylan O'Keefe.
Yumi Park.
Carter Collins.
Tanya Flores.
Clayton Hooper.
Christina Zen.
Nicholas Anderson.
Jacqueline Wu.
Jack Ford.
Sammy Hong.
Bo Erickson.
Koi Dam.
Madigan Mormon.
Samir Bureslin.
Vivian DeRoxy.
Yushan Cheng.
Ava Rosenblum.
Mihong Lee.
Andrew Cow.
Jiho Kim.
Kahaiki Ola Kawala.
Alejandra Ruiz Velasco.
Oscar Yu.
Anna Deep.
Addison Kenny.
Crystal Vo.
Megan Green.
Lauren Gaddis.
Jalal Taraban.
Erica Lamb.
Zachary Howe.
Yarena Belus.
Denny Wong.
Alyssa Seychow.
Kevin Fu.
Juan Alexander de la Rosa Sanchez.
Reese Kelly.
Natia Anukonda.
Lauren Lewis.
Michelle Jansen.
Owen Keep.
Parker Ritzman.
Scott Keurig.
Manav Sandhu.
Foster Hicks.
Jaskaran Singh.
Seth Meharry.
Tristan Miller.
Congrats. Colin Vanderberg.
David Dunca.
Jack Geisler.
Ethan Lee.
Ace Jacobs.
Nini Krashilava.
Matthew Nguyen.
Chessa Schaefer.
Brian Chung.
Ashley Bagornia.
Emily Huang.
Michael Cho.
Jace Blanchard.
Kitty Chang.
Alex Kwan.
Jasmine San Juan.
Ivan Lee.
Zachary Muzio.
Zachary Mahar.
Ian Summers.
Alex Osorio Ojada.
Tim Sheehan.
Willa Jones.
Victor Mann.
Madison Birsch.
Angelber Pisa.
Mickey Ho.
Nelson Fowler.
Harini Swaminathan.
Isaac Medeiros.
McKenna George.
Philippe Boulas.
Jamie Chung.
Abigail Arney.
Christine Nguyen.
Julia Daylard.
Carisha Manzano.
Holly Gardner.
Jasmine Ramirez.
Mateo Cauchi.
Jasmine Tran.
Harrison Bell.
Megan Varnashon.
Sebastian Stokes.
Emily Martinez Perciado.
Corin Singh.
Coco Mar.
Maximilian Arrutia.
Chelsea Pang.
Elijah LaRue.
Phoebe Hong.
Daniel Gonzarski.
Aaliyah Ollinger.
Christopher Williams.
Jasper Gann.
Milana Isatova.
Justin Tran.
Lena Lee.
Nolan Kim.
Junhee Park.
Hold on. Dylan Pham.
Iris Young.
Brett Pearson.
Margarita Boyko.
Alondra Hernandez.
Avery Kluk.
Medina Berdiva.
Piper Reagan.
Valeria Flores.
Rachel Cameron.
Marcella Burkhardt.
Mira Patel.
Arushi Sharma.
Audrey Budwa.
Dylan Doe.
Bryce Duffin.
Wendy Vo.
Ellen Wynn.
Nisa Charda.
Joseph Chen.
Camille MacArthur.
Victoria No.
Jessica Tran.
Anna Letterly.
Congrats. Yun Din.
Claire Mayer.
Alex Park.
Grayson Wilhelm.
Daisy Saucedo.
Blake McVeigh.
Vanessa Guzman Vargas.
Andre Kulchenko.
Madison Kalma.
Lucia Fernandez Binder.
Ashrain Deal.
Emily Whittick.
Margaret Downer.
Presley Ann Bergman.
Marina Prestrinka.
Manuela de Pala.
Wendy Chang.
Dan Boyanu.
Carolyn Chang.
Ian Jackson.
Kiana Fakuda.
Uma Devekar.
Ashley Wang.
Lauren Saunders.
Sharina Meiying Wang.
Philip Shin.
Hyogo Fong.
Isaac Yim.
Egaman Ganesh.
Cameron Lee.
Jack Norman Salyar.
Ellie Pierce.
Sophia Kettle.
Thank you. Julie Tuo.
Emma Cheng.
Allison Prater.
Jackie Choi.
Alyssa De La Rosa.
Estella. Grace.
Sonia McJani.
Jarrell Dario Fernandez.
Flora Huang.
Anthony Q. Tong.
Elizabeth Cesny.
Trey Patawara.
Marin Brivik.
Josh Lee.
Enrique Pinheiro.
Harrison Cheng.
Erica Guzman Mendoza.
Harold Lynn.
Stephanie Jung.
Tony Ben.
Nancy Hua.
Aviosho Waters Patwell.
Mia Takaguchi.
Jonathan Rivera.
Johnny Skull.
Jasmine Jung Lee.
Julia Claire Neville.
Carissa Minkor.
Riley Marr.
Lund Agilov.
Jennifer Yen.
Jan Isabel Adahar.
Canny Sang.
Noreen Bayou.
Leo Wong.
Shermeen Petawala.
Connor Lawrence Jones.
Albiona Uka.
David De Jong Cunningham.
Aiden Angao.
Jacob Hamikojo.
Vivian Ochoa.
Rachel Wynn.
Ruth Ledetu.
Luca Bonke.
Jack Shun.
Diego Perez Santos.
Louis Young.
Shirley Wong.
Isla Stechik.
Christina Strong.
Brooklyn Nelson.
Nina Bo.
Madrona Naragon.
Hannah Trin.
Lenghua Lee.
Jabron Kareem.
Jesse Chow.
Isaac Ramirez.
Yensing Lee.
Hannah Andral.
Fanting Jin.
Catherine Thompson.
Yushun Lee.
Tung Fun Tu.
Xiaoqing Zhou.
Toki Tren.
Ziefe Nan.
Isabella Ratsami Malelovich.
Nicole Jalaveno.
Brooke Wills.
Kathleen Benefiel.
Janice Wu.
Likey Lin.
Annie Nguyen.
Maxim Dorgachev.
Georgia Ambrose.
Ty Sam.
Lexi Olson.
Alex Hun.
Karina Shit.
Sopreet Crow.
Brock Olafson.
Fu Tran.
Rana Singh Narula.
Jedediah Choi.
Stacy Chen Nyang.
Nathan Andre Kurugia Garcia.
Alexis Demas.
James Mino Chung.
Gabriel Johnny.
Sarah Lee.
Vitali Loper.
Hai Demeka.
Yuval Aryeh.
Jacqueline Nguyen.
Neil Proudker.
Amy Tanyi Fan.
Marcus Koo.
Tate Nelson.
Xian Li.
Andrew Ho.
Jia Yi Zhang.
Anne Marie McQuillan.
Shi Yi Lu.
Nicholas Fang. Hold on.
Clooney Lu.
Amay Joshi.
Shuli Hong.
Paul Matthew Lazarte.
Easy Luo.
Jackson Fay.
Muhammad Budia Ubum.
Charlotte Curry.
Adrian
Hold on.
Moses Juhadi.
Faye Berry.
Josh Tyler Furtanto.
Weilong Wu.
Daryl and Tony Rusli.
Yuling Wang.
Ryan Chong.
V. Nu.
Leonid Vito.
Isabel Chong.
Jack Thorne.
Jennifer Tran.
Kayla Sung.
PJ King.
Nimul Handoyo.
Anna Kniphausen.
Stefan Zoll.
Suzanne Wilness.
Pearson LaPlante.
Andrew Salomon.
Brian Elson Sugandi.
Kevin Larson.
Sebastian Cesario Duhanji.
Jensen Nicholas.
Cooper James Sanders.
Panya Keo.
Eric Sunman Poon.
Anthony Yu.
Sean Kim.
Jason Choi.
Iris Zoe.
Ryan Huang.
Unshin Lee.
Jonathan Nguyen.
Iris Fay.
Sultan Ehab Akadafi.
Shangyi Wang.
Connor Richardson. Hey, hold on a second.
Shishi Zhu.
Mehtab Singh.
Chenre Ma.
Elena Sung.
Zhou Le.
Charlie Sung.
Luke Ellison.
Lena Doty.
Grace Pandra.
Eva Fong.
Brady Fall.
Daniel Molnar.
Mason Byer.
Daisy Cho.
James Alvarez Patrick.
Sue Wong.
Zainab Hafid.
Lillian McCoyne.
Sarah Gadomski.
Yardanas Mamno.
Sanvi Nanda.
Nathan Tran.
Talia Mar.
Iwab Tasfai.
Cecilia Sodiano.
Nahom Reddy.
Faith Precious Sitianon.
Rukia Badeso.
Arun Natanya Hartono.
Amira Haji.
Claire Anastasia Kutsumo.
Jonathan Tonic.
Patricia
Muse Dagnawi.
Patricia Abby Agustino.
E. Drew Wong.
Michelle Zhang.
Zoe Yanglin Lee.
Aaron Shin.
Calvin Phillips.
Era Shin.
Yarrow Cox.
Parker Lee.
John Cole Wanamaker.
Locke Chen.
Malia Midman.
Chia Beck.
Harrison Chesler.
Bernice Young.
Great. Emily Bakanovich.
Sejin Park.
Thank you. Ryan Phillips.
Zipu.
Nahum Yamane.
Diego Chavez.
Angel Casillas Banal.
Ryan Willoughby.
Robil Zerodom.
Kirby Wynn.
Biniam Gade.
Jamie Yue.
Mar Meager.
Chili Miet. Liam Flaskrud. Ushkart Pont. Dondi Sun. Harshu Shah. Jeffrey Me. Nadim Al Nasser. Nicholas Chow. Ian Peng. Mario Sitiawan. Brian Chen. Kaylee Short. Sarah Yu. Janvi Tiagi.
I'm exhausted. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Faculty, please return to your seats. Come on back. You can come up the center row. Great job. Love it. Congratulations, graduates. You have done it! Class of 2026, please rise. At this time, I ask all graduates to participate in the ceremonial turning of the tassel. Please move your tassel from the right side of your cap to the left. All of your hard work, planning, determination, and grit have turned you into a Foster alumni, ready to go out there and better humanity. Have a seat. Class, my heart is bursting with pride and gratitude for your accomplishments. My colleagues and I are honored to call you alumni. We cannot wait to see what is next for you, and we welcome you back to share your experiences with us. And that brings us to the end of this celebration. Faculty will exit first, followed by graduates. I ask that all the guests please remain seated until the recessional concludes. Families, please be sure to exit the arena and meet your graduates outside the building. Thank you for coming and have a wonderful day. We love you.